My name's Spencer Watts, and when you see what I do with one loaf of bread, you might pee your pants. I'm gonna make 4 recipes with just one loaf of bread. I'm gonna do French toast, PB&J French toast. I'm gonna make croutons. I'm gonna make the best cheesy garlic bread you've ever seen, and I'm gonna make the world's best holiday stuffing in one loaf. The first thing I'm gonna do is tip it and top it to square off the loaf, and then the ends are gonna be the croutons. So these ends, don't waste your ends. They make the best croutons. If you've never made fresh croutons before, they're award-winning and super simple to do. So that's for the croutons. So the next thing, slice the French toast. 2 nice thick slices for French toast. I'm gonna make a PB&J sandwich, and when you see this French toast transform, you're gonna go, what? Okay, then I'm gonna take a big whack of it for stuffing, and then leave the other half for garlic bread, 4 applications, 1 loaf. This is fun. Garlic bread is delicious. I've got some crazy tips and tricks for my garlic bread, but this is the start of it. 2 nice thick slices for garlic bread, and then all of this gets diced up for stuffing. 1 loaf of bread, truly endless possibilities. So I've gotten some nice thick cut pieces for the French toast. Then I got the ends, which is gonna make the world's greatest croutons. Couple thick slices for garlic bread and stuffing. But wait till you see my tips and tricks for all of this. This isn't gonna be regular stuff. I'm gonna go deep into this and pull out as much flavor as possible. 1 loaf of bread. I gotta start with the French toast. Let's do this. First step for the PB&J French toast is to make a PB&J. I like using nice soft peanut butter, so peanut butter on one side. And when it comes to jelly, there's a bit of a debate with peanut butter and jelly. Is it raspberry? Is it strawberry? Is it apricot? Is it whatever I got? All of those things are true. But for me, it's Concord grape. It's gotta be grape jelly. Maybe it's the American side of my family, but it's gotta be grape jelly, and it's gotta be smooth peanut butter. But use your preference. As long as you got jam and jelly on there and peanut butter, you're good to go. There's a science to building a sandwich. There really is. You want an even amount. Don't just do this like you're not thinking about it. Think about it. You want an even amount of jelly and peanut butter. They need to balance each other out. Well, this is why this sandwich is so delicious and so iconic, because it's that savory, nutty, salty butter, and then this sweet, decadent, fruity jam. So you want a good balance of it. You want 50-50. Sometimes I go a little bit more jelly because the peanut butter is such a big flavor, but that's good. And then get it out to all the sides. This is a little sandwich art right here. Peanut butter, meat, jelly, step 1. Enter Lord Sandwich. All right, this is a great start. Give it a little pressure because you want those things to give each other a good hug. And then French toast is all about having a really nice custard to dip it in, but I'm gonna take it 1 step further and roll it in something crunchy. And because I'm all about that nostalgic hit, what's the best crunch I could put out there? Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Yes, I'm gonna use cereal to coat the outside of all of it. You can't put it on with the whole cereal, so what I like to do is just open it up and then beat it up in a food processor. If you don't have a food processor, you could just use a little rolling pin in a plastic bag, but I'm gonna beat it up in the food processor. Things go a little bit quicker. Cinnamon Toast Crunch on the outside, and then peanut butter and jelly. It doesn't stop there. This is the perfect texture. This is gonna do fun things on the outside of that PB&J sandwich. You've got big pieces for that big pop of crunch, and then a nice crumble in there. That's perfect. You could use a lot of different cereals, but cinnamon, peanut butter, jelly, it all works together. So to get that to glue onto that, I need to make a custard. And a custard is super simple. It's just a few eggs, some milk, sugar, and cinnamon. So let's get into it. Sandwich, dunky, crusty. Normally when you have French toast, you put a big knock of butter on the top of that stuff. But instead of butter, I'm gonna make peanut butter icing. And if you've never made peanut butter icing, it is wickedly sinful and super delicious. And it's just a big shot of peanut butter and lots of powdered sugar. I'll put a pinch of salt in there and that's it. You wanna beat it up until it's really nice and creamy and soft and fluffy. And the powdered sugar is gonna help you in that process. A little pinch of salt, powdered sugar, whisk it up, peanut butter icing. You can put it on cookies next time you make cookies. Peanut butter icing, it lives right here. Peanut butter icing. That's how I became a bodybuilder. You know, peanut butter. Then you know that sometimes honey like a bumblebee. Then you do this. Come on! Nice and big and strong. Yummy. I mean, look at it. It looks so good. So many uses for that. Okay. Maple syrup. French toast. They're best friends. But instead of maple syrup, I'm going to heat up some Concord grape jelly and get a pan ready to do this and put it all together. It looks so good. Wait till you see it. You're gonna need some fat to cook this French toast in. Canola oil, vegetable oil, super good. Olive oil, go ahead. Avocado oil, great. Butter. Now, that's where there's a bit of a conversation. Butter has milk solids in it, and when you put the butter in there, the milk solids like to burn, and before you get crispy French toast, you're gonna get burny. But clarified butter, so good. And it's relatively cheap to find clarified butter. So I love cooking my French toast in either neutral oil or clarified butter. And to get this ready, you wanna take that PB&J, roll it in this custard on all sides, even the crust, and then into this crumb. You want crumb on the outside, the top, the bottom, everywhere. This is really nice. You can see the little brown bits starting to happen around the edges, and when you see that breakfast cereal start to get nice and toasted, it's a perfect sign to give it a flip and see how good you did. This is beautiful. Look at that little crust. It's absolutely perfect. Pro tip coming right at you. Bake your French toast. Whatever French toast that you make. Whether you're hungover and it's a pack of Wonder Bread, or you're making whole grain toast because that's all you got for the kids because they said, we want French toast, we want it now, it's dinner. Bake it. That custard is gonna get nice and tacky. The edges are gonna get really nice and crispy. Whatever French toast that you make, put it on a tray and bake it for 5 minutes. It'll change your life. This recipe makes me smile. Not only is it nostalgic, but a lot of these ingredients are really cheap. Peanut butter and jam we all have. Powdered sugar, eggs, milk, we kind of all have it. A little cinnamon toast crunch and some magic can happen. Okay, on with this icing. Check this out. Look at that. You just want to dollop it on top. Look at the texture of that. Wait till you see the texture of this jelly. When you heat it up, it gets nice and smooth, perfect for drizzling over French toast, kind of like maple syrup. You always got to hit it with a shot of icing sugar. This is a bit of a masterpiece. PB&J French toast with cinnamon toast crunch. That peanut butter icing and a little bit of that melted jelly. That's for the sweet stuff for that loaf of bread. Let's get onto the savory stuff, and I'm gonna show you my greatest tips, tricks, and secrets to making the best stuffing you've ever had. When it comes to stuffing, everybody has their traditions, and sometimes those traditions are crazy. When Roger makes his stuffing, he air dries the bread for 5 days and puts cranberries and chestnuts in it. Before we throw it in the oven, we get in our best dressing gowns and go mingle with the town folk. And as we throw his grandfather's precious war coins into the pond, we wish upon a star that our stuffing's the best. Holy shit. Roger, that's crazy. There's a way to get that same flavor, that same memory, and that same feeling evoked in a great stuffing, doing it really simple with a few ingredients. And the first ingredient is bread. Lots of people air dry their bread or use croutons. You don't need to do that. You're gonna add more liquid to bring it to this state and then to get it fudgy. And honestly, using it with fresh bread is even better. So that's the beginning of this story, along with some humble vegetables. I use celery, garlic, onion, a bit of sage, chop it up, and that's half the battle. Love you, Raj. My stuffing story starts like any stuffing story with some really good sausage. I like using breakfast sausage. It's got brown sugar in it for a little sweetness and some sage and a lot of fat. And that fat is gonna help flavor all of these vegetables. So I always start with the sausage. Big crumbles of sausage in a stuffing is pretty nice. I don't beat it up too much after the sausage gets in there. You just want to give it a nice little crust, move it around a little bit, and then if you do want to break it up, feel free. But when I'm eating the stuffing and a big thing of sausage shows up, pretty happy about that. Yes, this is nice. Those little caramelization little bits in there, that means flavor, baby. Free flavor. And speaking of flavor, the next thing that goes in is the sage. I put it in an open spot where it can touch some oil and it will release all of its beautiful tastiness into that pan. That is like a big old hug. Oh, stuffing. Oh my goodness. And then after that, go in with the veg, roll it around. You want to sweat that veg out. Hey, let it sweat. Pedal to the metal to get the sausage really nice and crispy. Once the veg goes in, you can turn the heat down just a little bit. You just want to sweat that veg out. It's going to give a lot of flavor, and that's a great base for the veg and the meat. So to get it really nice and creamy and get that custardy, fudgy, shaggy feeling and a stuffing, you need to build the liquids. And the liquids start with egg. So a couple, and this just holds it all together. You put 2 or 3 eggs for this amount of bread, and then we get on to the liquids. Now this is very specific for me. This is a chance to add moisture and flavor. So a couple of eggs and a good shot of heavy cream for that decadence. Usually you're making stuffing, usually you're celebrating, so a little bit of decadence won't hurt anybody. And some stock. You can use beef stock, veg stock. If you make your own turkey stock, even better. It's something Roger would do. I'm using chicken stock, no drama. Nice shot of chicken stock. And then, this is my little secret. I don't know if you do this, but I do this. Melted butter. The combination of melted butter, eggs, cream, chicken stock makes for some pretty flavorful stuff. Speaking of flavor, give it a good pinch of salt. Just gonna make everything taste nice. A nice shot of pepper. That's it. This liquid plus all of that flavor in there, little slice of heaven. So once this is cooked down, I want to give that a little love too. Little shot of salt, gonna help everything taste nice. Even little shot of pepper, gonna help everything taste nice. And then get it off the heat. And I put this right onto the bread warm because it's gonna soften the bread up and let it open up like a sponge so it can drink up all of that tastiness. With a clean hand, or unless you're my brother, a super dirty one. What's the deal, Trav? Do you wash your hands? No, I didn't. Would you make stuffing weird? Can you taste our cat? Yes. Wash your hands. Another pro tip, add the liquid in gradually. Sometimes you're gonna need more, sometimes you're gonna need less. So just go in stages and massage it in. And you want it quite wet. It's gonna go into a hot oven and bake, and the top's gonna get crispy and shaggy. So you want it fairly wet. And when you put it in your hands, it should be nice and tacky and sticky, and it smells so good in here. And then put it into your favorite tray and bake it till the eggs set, the top gets really nice and crispy, and then you know the interior is just studded with celery, onions, garlic, sage, breakfast sausage, everything happy. There's a couple things you can do now. So if you want to eat it right away, throw it in the oven, get it really nice and crispy. It doesn't take too long. If you are planning a party and you want to get ahead of a festivity, you can par bake it. So just throw it in the oven, just cook it till it warms slightly, and then cool it in the fridge. And when you want it, 20 minutes later, throw it in a lower temperature oven, bring it up, get the top crispy. Or if you want to make it and really get ahead, you can throw it in the fridge just like this. When you want to bake it, bring it out of the fridge, let it sit on the counter for an hour, and then throw it in the oven. It's as simple as that. You know when it's done, when the house smells like Santa's coming, and the top's nice and crispy. Croutons 101. It seems like a very simple thing, and it is a very simple thing, but with a few little tips and a couple of tricks, you're gonna make world famous croutons. And it all starts with the ends of the bread. The heels, I see this as a gift. This is a gift. This isn't a waste. Doesn't belong in the bin, yeah? This is a true gift. It's got the edges, which are really nice and crispy, and on the inside, it's really nice and fluffy, perfect for drinking up a lot of flavor. Now, the size of your crouton can depend on how much you want to chew. I like smaller croutons that are a bit shaggy, and these things are so delicious. So first up, cut your croutons. They're not croutons yet. Cut the bread, then we'll make croutons. These are garlic butter croutons, and it says it all in the name, garlic butter. So lots of melted butter, and then I microplane some garlic into it. This is just gonna make sure that garlic goes all over this bread. And when you're making croutons, there's a few ways. You can have it so there's little fat on it, but then you're gonna have a hard as glass crouton. But if you saturate it in fat, whether that's good olive oil, clarified butter, regular butter, you're gonna get a crumbly crouton, something that when you bite down, it feels crunchy, but it's also kind of soft and delicate. So in with garlic, and then lemon. You want it super flavorful. Throw everything you have at this, garlic and lemon into some warm butter to start the story. Flavor engagement, engage. So it's time to throw more flavor at it. Any dry herb that you want. I'm gonna use oregano because it just feels right. And then with the lemon and the garlic, you want a touch of spice in there. So a few chili flakes, paprika because I love the color and the warmth of paprika, and it just stains it with this little hue of red. And then salt and pepper. You want it nice and seasoned, because you want to be able to eat that crouton on its own and think it's fantastic. And that's how you make a really nice amped up butter for the croutons. The smell in here right now just makes me smile. Your passport here to travel through different flavor profiles is completely valid, so stamp it. There's no rules here. Just make a nice tasty butter and pour it onto your bread. You really want to soak it. They need to be wet before you bake them. Trust me, makes the best crouton. You know you've put enough fat on the crouton when you can't see white. When you can't see white bread anymore, you know you've done things right. Then onto a tray, into the oven, and bake them. 350 till they're crispy, and they'll still be a little bit soft. It's perfect. Now that's a stuffing you can be really proud of. And look at the crispy bits on the outside. And then if you just take your finger and press on it, it's really nice and soft and fudgy in the middle. It's a few ingredients. It's super simple, but with some clever cooking, it's fantastic. It's stunning. That is how I make stuffing. And you can put that in the bag. Cha-ching! Listen to these croutons. Crispy on the outside, but if you have a look at them, when you touch down, they're still fudgy in the middle. Lighter than air, garlic butter, herbs, little kick of chili, salt, lemon. Hi, how you doing? Pretty good. This is great. At my house, we'll just make these and then just dip them into like homemade blue cheese or a little ranch. We call them crunchies. Panzanella salad, your favorite Caesar salad, any salad. These things are the bomb. Those are the best croutons you'll ever make. Can you believe I've made all this so far with one loaf of bread? Genius! Let's get serious about garlic cheesy bread for 1 second. This isn't a throwaway item. This might be the best, my favorite thing of the whole loaf of bread. These big slices are gonna be transformed. I'm gonna do a couple things before I get the cheese on. And one, sounds wild, but toast the bread first. A nice warm pan, a good shot of oil, and you want a nice crust on that bread. This is a nice, thick cut piece of bread, and I wanna get the top really nice and crispy and have that good crunchy texture before I lay on some other things. What am I gonna lay on there? Garlic butter mayo. You're gonna do what? Garlic butter mayo. So it all starts with a nice shot of mayo. That's nice. And then to make it garlic butter, you literally add melted butter and a bit of garlic. So just a little drizzling of butter. Super delicious. And then garlic. Microplane is gonna get you there fastest. Use it, grate it up, get it in there. Garlic butter mayo. Then it's time to really season it. A good pinch of salt. It's gonna make everything taste real nice. Nice touch of pepper. And then some dry spices here. You can have fun with it. I'm gonna use dry basil just because it feels right, and some chili flakes because I like that bit of warm heat when it shows up. And for some reason, parsley feels good in this garlic butter mayo, so I'm putting it in. You could use the dry stuff. I got fresh stuff. Get it in there. This right here, this simple little mayo, there's a little bit of magic in here. With the garlic and the butter and the dry spices, not only is it good for garlic bread, but sometimes I'll take that, slather this over fish into the oven, super cheap, easy way to get flavor. This on chicken with Parmesan cheese, super easy. This is so versatile, but it goes really good on garlic bread. You know the bread is nice and toasted when it looks like that and sounds like this. That's a nice, crispy, crunchy start of a cheesy garlic bread. Because this is really nice and crispy and this mayo is all fat and butter, it's gonna retain its crispiness while it cooks. So just a little slathering of this, and this is gonna give it a ton of flavor and some creaminess. A little goes a long way. You just wanna put it on like butter on toast. Now it's time for the cheeses. I'm gonna use 2. Parmesan cheese, because I always have these little bits in the fridge and it's really nice and nutty and it's got a great flavor. And then marble cheese or whatever melting cheese that you have. You want something that's gonna be ooey gooey and crispy on top. Parmesan cheese, a good melting cheese. This, garlic bread. Plus that, it's like the best garlic bread you've ever had. You gotta take your garlic cheesy bread really seriously. Usually this stuff you put on the side of something, you're like, oh, it's good. But if you really pay attention to it, if you give it a little love, this can be the star of the show. Whether it's by itself or beside a pasta, this is how you make epic garlic cheesy bread. Put it in the oven till the cheese bubbles and gets nice and crispy, and you're in heaven. Those look so good. Listen to the sound of this cheesy bread. All of this, all of it, with one loaf of bread. Happy cooking. Yes! Nailed it! I have exercised the bread loaf. This house is clear.